Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, it's been a week since we wrapped up Summit. And so I'm very excited to come back in here. And Esther White, I have with me the founder and CEO of Maths Australia. Thank you for joining me, Esther.
Welcome. Yeah, my pleasure.
I've honestly loved having your perspective throughout the summit. I've learned so much from you, and both from the perspective of Maths and Maths Australia and the way that you do that, but also you homeschooled 5 daughters. So your wisdom and your approach to this whole, experience has been very inspiring and nurturing. So thank you so much for being a part of the summit, for sponsoring the summit, and for sharing all of that with us.
Yeah, so welcome. It's been so much my pleasure. I mean, here I am now at 56, I think I am, halfway through my life, I sort of think. And I sort of, this piece, and I really wanted to just have this opportunity just to encourage everyone who's, I think back to being in the midst of homeschooling. I had 5 little girls under 5 years at one stage, all born separately. Got to 5 in 5 years and went, well, if we don't stop, I'll have 10 in 10 years. And that just was a bit too mind-boggling. So, but just the encouragement to say, this time that you have with them is so precious. It goes so quickly. When I reflect back, and I've been doing this even over the summit, when I've been getting the emails from Annelise and seeing who's talking and who's talking about what. And, I think back to when, gosh, it was in the year 2000 that we started homeschooling. And back then, when it was so unregulated in terms of, you could just decide to homeschool, you didn't have to ask anybody. And then they started to bring in requirements to enroll children and all of these sorts of pieces. So seeing the ease, but I think seeing, even since then, the value of the resources that you have available to you now, the beauty of, even having Australian resources that we can use for supporting us to home educate if we haven't been trained as teachers. And I suppose the biggest piece that I'd encourage you with is really to trust your own ability to learn and your own ability to know what's the best for your children. And, that piece that as parents, we're always going to want better for our children than anybody in the entire world. So with that motivation and that ability to understand our children and even to stay open to what are their needs and what are their passions and what are they actually here to inspire the world with, and how are they going to be inspired, that with all of those pieces, we have everything that we need actually to be able to really not effortlessly, but really in a beautiful way, be able to guide their journey and support them to be the impact that they're going to make in their world. That's very, very different to what our world was. I know back when I was growing up, but even more so now. So yeah, I just want to really encourage you with that. And I think what I've seen, even in terms of maths, and back when I first heard about Math UC, and then now at a stage where, I've learnt beyond Math UC and seen research and on dyscalculia and learning differences, and seeing this part where we can actually build on and learn from and grow and really address where our students are at and really address the way that they learn and the way that they're going to be able to take knowledge and make it and weave it into their lives. So yeah, really encourage you with that. I mean, I've seen, particularly over the last 10 years, when I've been going along to conferences and seeing, all these professors and doctors of maths and other subjects, and thinking, well, am I in this space of education and being impacted and not seeing how much I can stand up and stand tall and, know that how I'm teaching is actually more effective than maybe the way that our education system has taught. And yeah, I really encourage you as a parent just to see that, the way that you're studying how to teach your children, that even to realize we can be the best teacher that our child could ever have. And really encourage you in that, and to seek support in things that maybe you're not feeling the most inspired by or the best in, but to see that with that inspiration, that love of our children, we actually can do the best job that's possible, actually. So that was really all I wanted to share. And I think that's really the biggest piece that I've seen is, to trust our process and our love for our children and our inspiration that really is to support them to be inspired and to be the best of themselves that they could possibly be.
Yeah, thank you. It is such, I think, more and more kind of the weight as my kids get older, because my eldest is 10. Like the weight of the responsibility kind of is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so I have to continue to remind myself, like, no, exactly what you said. I want the best for them. Like, we're going to figure this out. And I think it's never going to be perfect in my mind, but either is school. And so
Totally.
it's continually telling me that, going, it's okay. Like, we're doing,
just keep reminding yourself, like, standard classroom, 20 to 30 children. When I have, even if I have 5 and I think, holy moly, how am I going to teach 5? Like, in every classroom, even that I have the opportunity to go into to assess the math, it's like they'll often have 5 children in the same classroom out of that 30 that are all different levels of their maths. So, that's going to happen whether they're all the same age or they're different ages. And being able to really see we're up for this task, really, even in having our children, we're up for it, and they're up for the task of being homeschooled by us as well. So to trust that piece that we've both, in a way, decided on together, and actually we're going to be able to make the best of this, even if it doesn't look the best right today when I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling.
It's so funny. I did feel very I don't even know what the word is, like a ping pong ball. That's the word I was looking for this morning. Going like, no, you're okay. You're fine. No, you're fine. Like, moving back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a headache. Like, everybody, just do your work. Let me need some coffee now.
And to see, in a classroom, that would be happening all the time too. And I talk to teachers time and time again. They're like, can I just have something that they can just sit by themselves and just do by themselves, and I don't have to be so involved? And then the other times are like, actually, this is the time we all need to get our hands dirty and be super involved. And so trusting.
Now I know why we played dead fish so much. Now I get it. Like, actually, maybe I should bring that in. Oh, like heads down, thumbs up or something. That was the game, wasn't it? I don't remember the rules. But thank you for thank you for sharing your story so openly. And I know for me, who's in the thick of it, that is really inspiring. And to see that, there's both children that have been homeschooled that as adults are glad of that experience, and parents on the other side who have done, like, parents that have gone before us. I think because I'm so new to the world, I haven't had any examples of mothers that have homeschooled and loved it, and have children that are, well-adjusted adults and all of that. You just hear the kind of, I think it's just the stereotype stigma from people going, oh my gosh, your children are not going to be socialized. Oh my gosh, they're not going to be, well-adjusted. How are they going to, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, no, we're fine. I'm like, this is good. We're good. I've made the right decision. And so to have those shining examples, like, who still are going, like, it's not perfect, but nothing is going to be. That's so helpful for when the noise is so loud in other areas. So I think my earrings are making so much noise.
And I'd really encourage people, just in terms of, like, take a step back and think, what are the key skills as an adult even that I want to instill in my children? Because, as I said, you have limited time. Like, my daughters are all, my youngest is 21 now. And so, if I wanted to teach her, like, I'm going through a course at the moment looking at your spiritual and your mental, your physical, all of these parts lining up, even in terms of business, and that alignment that I'm seeking in all of the parts, the talking, the walk, the walking, the talk, and that congruity in all of these pieces. And like one of the pieces, I'm like, I would so love all of my girls to do this, but I'm like, I can't influence that much. They've got their own busy lives, whereas when they're at home, we have such a microcosm of time almost to look at what actually will they need when they go into adulthood, and to see, I think I shared this previously, the simplicity of saying, let's teach maths and English. If you're proficient in maths and English, you can learn anything. And that part of learning attitude and what are life skills that I can take. They're not only the education or the way that we think of education, but looking at emotional intelligence and financial intelligence and spiritual intelligence and, relationship intelligence, all of these pieces that we are teaching them, even though we might not formally think it, but, how we're relating to our partner, how we're relating to them, how we're relating to our world around us is impacting them. And they're learning these pieces. Like, do we want to be a awesome example of somebody who's balanced and trusting themselves and trusting life, or not? So yeah, I really encourage you that, it's, as I said, such a small amount of time you have with them, and I know sometimes it feels so big and so all encompassing, and it's going to pass like everything does. So yeah.
Yeah, so fleeting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my daughter's 11. My eldest is 11 in January. And I'm like, oh, you're like the childhood's gone.
Yeah.
Like, she's like up to here. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. You're like not going to be my little one anymore. We're going to be friends. Like, oh, I mean,
Yeah.
boundaries and all of that. But like, oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, that goes quick. Even though in the moment, like this morning when I was cleaning poo off the carpet, it's like, it feels like so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
2-year-olds, man.
I'm like, cleaned enough for my entire life or made enough meals for my entire life.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
but all part of it.
Seriously, that part I'm happy to give away, but that's all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I also have collected from a few different people different tips for world schooling, and so I don't know, should I share the slide deck? How should I do that? Maybe I'll just quickly go through these. It's not going to take long and I'll pop it in, but I was really excited to kind of hear from world schoolers. And sorry, now it's going to test me. I'm not used to presenting. Yes.
Can I just mention, just while you're doing that?
Yes.
The parent training that we have extended the discount. We've had a few people purchase, but the discount. So if you want to look at that parent training, whether you're looking at using Math-UC or just looking at what the best way is for teaching that brings in this research and evidence-based really approach, the parent training that we have on our website is still, I think it's $60 off, and you just need the coupon Be the Best. So basically, be the best math teacher that your child could ever have, and it's possible. So yeah, just wanted to let people know that's still available, and that will be available until the end of December. I think we've made that. So
amazing. And we're going to give one away today. So yes, we will. All right, it's not doing it. Hang on. There we are. Everyone else was presenting and I'm not used to it. I got to be like in the audience and didn't have to deal with this much. Okay, there we go. Now you got me on the spot. Ta-da. Got myself on the spot, really.
Oh, good.
There we go. Okay, we can see this. Ta-da! Okay, great.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. I can see that.
Amazing. So this is very short, just a compilation of, I think, maybe 8 different pieces of advice. And then we're going to give away our one of the parent training courses. So built-in rhythms came up quite a lot in terms of some sort of structure and consistency when you're world schooling. Obviously, I haven't done this yet. We're leaving in less than 3 months, 2.5 months. So I'm like writing all this down and getting prepared as we speak. So some sort of consistency, as in like have the mornings for whatever it is that the book work or whatever you've chosen to do, and then afternoons for exploring and play, something like that, just so that continue that structure and consistency in.
Yeah.
The next one I loved was to have one school bag that everything is kind of in, and then that way that comes out when you're doing schooling, and then it goes away, which for me kind of took the pressure off a lot. And I know it sounds really simple, but I was like, oh, okay, that for me is like a really easy, simple thing that I can implement that doesn't feel overwhelming. And then there's a limit, right? We can't just keep adding to the bag. We just get one bag. Learn before you get there. And we have definitely had a lot of fun doing that. So we're going to Thailand and Vietnam. And so probably 3 times a week, we'll sit down and do different YouTube videos or get out maps or learn about animals or things. And so the kids are now, my 6-year-old has gone for 3 months, probably 5 months of going, I don't want to go, to literally just this week. She's finally switched over to, I can't wait to go to Thailand. I'm like, oh, praise the Lord, we got there. Like, because I'm like, sorry, you're coming. Like, we're going. We're not leaving you behind. So finally, it was videos on like temples and things, like, walking videos that got her across the line. So that's good. I think maybe she feels a bit more at ease of like, this is what it's going to look like. So learn before you get there. Rest days are golden. Even some people are saying, 1 day out, 1 day at home, 1 day out, 1 day at home. And of course, that's going to be really family driven, but knowing that not jam packing the schedule, I think was the general kind of consensus here. Learn together. And this was particularly with skills and experiences, which is like my favorite thing about homeschooling, actually. Like even at home, we're doing clouds at the moment, learning about the weather, like weather patterns and things. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that there's got all these different names, and like, oh, like I love it. This is my favorite thing about homeschooling, is actually learning and doing it together. And Penny did great sessions on that, Penny Graham. So yes, look forward to experiencing more of that with actual different things that we have no idea about yet. Tap into the local programs and local things, again, was quite a big theme, like different cooking lessons and really kind of, I think, rather than set up, I think the I can't remember that, my words are not coming to me, rather than plan everything sort of in advance based off what you can find. A lot of times, if once you're there, then you'll see the more local, smaller opportunities and experiences that are going to be really authentic and less touristy. And so, again, that's really exciting to me, because you kind of don't know what you're going to get, which is most of the fun of traveling, right? Is exploring and being surprised.
Yeah.
And I think this is the last one, was capture the experience, which I think we are really good at now in terms of photos. But this one led me to think more around, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to have a scrapbook for each child? Are we going to, how are we going to actually capture this in like a tangible physical way for the kids? So any ideas around this, I would love if anyone has any things of what they've done or ways that they do it without lugging around everything. Is it just collecting tickets and things and making a scrapbook, or what is that for you? I'd love to get some more ideas around that.
Yeah,
and it's not the last one. And play, of course. And keep it fun and not so serious. So they were, from all of the people that I spoke to, sort of the main themes that came out of it. So I thought that might be a nice way to sort of wrap up everything that we've been speaking about in terms of business and travel and homeschooling. And what I love about this is about the whole homeschool experience and home education is that we just get to do it our own way and get to experience and play, and that there are things that can help us along the way that have been, but that we can still fit that into our lives in the way that works for us. Like with what Maths Australia does, you have this evidence-based, product and program, but it's not so cookie cutter that we can't make it our own. And it's not like the 5-year-olds are here and the 6-year-olds are here, and it's not you have to do it for 4 hours. It's just here is the tool, and use it and apply it to how best suits you and your family and your children, right? Because you can use it again and again and again.
Yeah. I'd probably encourage you, Annelise, like even just on that, how to record, is ask your children, like, how would you record this? How do you want to do it? Because really, I think, like, even from my own experience, like we traveled to Thailand sometime when we were all together in that younger years to like up into the highlands. We were supporting a orphanage there for a time, but just this piece of asking them, how would you capture this for yourself? Because really getting their buy-in or their engagement in their learning journey is one of the key pieces that you can have. And you don't want to be the one that's like, come on, everybody, you have to do this. It's like, if they've made it up and they're the authors of the way that they want to do it, then they're going to be much more engaged than if they're not part of how you think they need to capture that information or that experience. Some of them or one of them might want to write a poem, or somebody might want to, pick up all of the butts from every taxi you got, or however you travel around, and others will want to take photos. And it's like, I think that would be a really beautiful thing to say, ask them.
That's really good advice. I do forget to do that. So thank you for the reminder. I think I get there. I'm like, this is what we're doing. And then there's pushback from one and this for another. And I'm like, okay, fine, you can do it that way. Okay, fine. But it's not my natural inclination to ask. So thank you for the reminder.
Okay. Hard way, maybe.
I'm learning it the hard way. I am. My son going, fine, I'll just go to bed then today. I'm like, oh, it's traumatic. We're not going to bed. We're doing this.
Yeah.
That's okay. We got there. And then they got to do painting and they were happy.
Right.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us live. So I'm going to, we're going to gift the online parent training program. Esther, did you want to have a look in the comments and read out one of the names can you see the names?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Of people who've... So you can just move your mouse around, or I can choose, or we can pick the first person. We should have discussed that. We were going to do it earlier, but that's okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm in... I'm not sure. I mean, I imagine anybody who's there is interested in the parent training, but maybe Kimmy Maloney. Kimmy's put a couple of comments in there.
Amazing.
Kids don't need to be perfect. They just need us to show up. And
and Kimmy was the first person to comment as well. So I was, if we were going to... Perfect. I think we both chose the same person. So Kimmy Maloney, get in touch with me, or I will get in touch with you, and we'll organize that for you.
Awesome.
And thank you everyone else for being here. Thanks for being a part of the summit. So we're going to keep this community live because we're running another summit again. We're going to run the summit next year from the 11th of November again. And so this community will stay live. So share in here, talk about things, make sure that you're around. This video will stay there, but if you want to make this a space where you come and talk about anything homeschooling, business, travel related, make it that space, and we'll continue to build the community and be here and support you in any way that we can. So thank you for being here. I've really loved hosting this summit. People kept asking me, are you tired? Are you tired? I'm like, it's kind of like running a marathon, like or going for a run. I feel like so energized. Like it's good. Like, yeah, it's a lot because we had 27 speakers in 10 days, but it's so fun. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank you, Esther, so much for everything you've contributed, all of your wisdom, all of that, and for speaking to us about something that's so core to what we need to be learning and doing as parents. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Esther.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks so much, everyone. And yeah, stay connected. It's a really important piece when we're homeschooling.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.